from reporters.
Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace. How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is just supporters.
Pushing to invest Florida state pension funds into crypto. Let's bring in Florida CFO Jimmy Patronis, and it's good to see you again. It's been a while, Mr. Patronis.
Great to be with you, Joe.
This, I guess, is in response to some, I guess, comments from former President Trump regarding a U.S. strategic crypto reserve, which, interestingly, would follow something that we've seen in Wisconsin and Michigan. And you sent a letter to the State Board of Administration, I guess, sort of pitching this idea. It's not something that I guess a lot of people think is, with the fiduciary responsibilities of state pensions, they don't maybe always think of crypto or Bitcoin in that respect. Why do you?
Well, crypto's not going anywhere. It's not going to contract. It's going to continue to be expanding. And I think we'd be a fool if we're not prepared to do everything we can to harness the opportunities there. Yes, I'm a fiduciary over the state's pension funds, and I need to make sure that the legislature is armed with all the tools and resources. So I put it to our SBA investment team. Let's get all the tools on the dashboard. Let's look at everything that we can do to possibly leverage this opportunity. I'm very bullish on Florida. You can probably figure that out by now. But as we had 400,000 new net Floridians come to Florida last year alone, our state's reserves are 4 times now higher than they were in 2020. So again, we're in a good place. I like to pay down debt. I see there's an opportunity that's very bright with Florida's future, but we need to be prepared for what crypto can bring to our investment portfolio.
Do you think China is trying to fool the rest of the world into thinking they're not interested in crypto? I mean, they've, in the past, they've said some negative things about Bitcoin. You think we need to stay ahead technologically, and that China, in fact, is making and is interested in making inroads into crypto?
No, look, if you're not paying attention to it, you're making a mistake. It is real. It's not going anywhere. I mean, again, like I said, I'm very bullish on Florida. We saw a surge of cryptocurrency interest and activity as we had 2020 in Miami. I think that at one point you're going to see Miami as the crypto capital of the world. But I'm going to continue to push forward to make sure that we're doing everything possible to take advantage of this. It's not emerging. It's here.
Jimmy, this is an interesting, just a quote. Recently, Governor DeSantis also leaned forward to protect the personal finances of Floridians from government overreach and woke corporate monitoring, and by signing legislation to fight back against the central bank digital currency, CBDC. So you're actually looking at this, the CBDC is a centralized currency, which is sort of the antithesis to what crypto or Bitcoin aims to be. So there's a sort of a tinge of some political rhetoric in that comment there. So you think that the government's going to continue to print too much money? You think Bitcoin is a way for Floridians to maintain purchasing power?
Thank you for making those points, because that's exactly where our head is on this. We look at the failed policies of Washington. I hope President Trump is going to be able to turn around, but I don't think it's going to happen overnight. He's walking into a real mess. But we need to be able to have a hedge against this massive overreach by the federal government with a centralized currency. Look, I don't want the federal government knowing when my son went to the grocery store to go buy a bag of Doritos at 2:15 in the afternoon. So we need to have some protections in place. And I think where we make it a welcome and interesting expansion of dialogues in Florida, and maybe even a greater expansion. We have about $800 million in crypto-related investments in our state portfolio, but I would not be shocked to be able to see that growing under a Trump administration in the near future.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Trump being a politician. Wonderful move. Trump in a garbage truck after Biden says his supporters are garbage. Yes, guys, you can't make this stuff up. And remember, Biden was too old in order to run. And we have Harris taking his place. And we see Trump right now as winning in a landslide. But we know why Harris was there. She was a last prophecy warning. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have Florida CFO wants to invest the pensions into crypto and asked about China. But guys, we know China uses Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a straw man for China to interact with the rest of the world because we see Hong Kong moving fast forward when it comes to the digital economy and Bitcoin and crypto. And don't forget, China was mining Bitcoin, and no one talks about all the Bitcoin they mine. And then on top of it, you never heard them talking about selling. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have the Fed printed 80% of all money in existence in 2 years. Yes, you heard that correct. And then on top of it, we were at zero for over a decade. And then they turned around and raised rates the fastest in history with all this debt, which means that we're paying over $1 trillion just to service the debt. If the sheep only knew. And this is the exact reason why they don't teach finances in school. You never fall for it. And the sheep are watching America to Babylon crumble right in front of their eyes. Now we have Uber on the super app, getting ready for the fourth industrial revolution. But they won't be the main super app. It's going to be one of these social media giants, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, X, and then there are plug-in apps like an Uber. They're getting ready for the social credit along with the metaverse. And if you look at Uber was one of those companies that were losing billions, the same as Amazon. You can go through the list. You can see the fingerprints of the NWO. The big investors have funded Uber just for this moment because they know these cars are going to be driverless and they'll be able to cut out the middleman, means humanity, and they'll be able to take all the profits. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Well, I think the market thinks the Fed might have overdone it.
You point out we were at zero for how long, and we had $18.4 trillion globally that were priced to yield zero, less than nothing. Yeah. And so you think that the beginning of that move higher in rates that we saw, that's not finished, and that inflation's still going to be around. And what do you think we could go back to?
If you look at the let's go back to the dot-com boom. When you look at the excess.
So this is like the dot-com boom in bonds.
Yeah. So this, sock puppets, and 18.4 trillion of negative yielding debt is some sock puppet. That was the to me the
Pets.com.
The great world-beating excess of that bull market. I think that common sense would tend to support this proposition that great excesses characterize great bull market tops and great bear market bottoms. And I think the 18.4 trillion was the clarion call that this 40-year bond market was over. And rates, I think, alone among important financial prices have trended over the course of 150 years in generation-length cycles. So the cycles have gone from between 20 years and 25 years. The bear market in bonds that preceded the 1981 to 2021 bull, that was 35 years. So nothing says that the past must be prologue, but if it were, we're looking at the start, what could be a generation-length bear bond market.
There's been this talk, and you've talked about it, about this sort of super app idea, using the Uber app as a platform for all sorts of things. How should the investor class think about that?
Well, it's something that's well along the way. We have essentially a super app, or really a family of apps that people are using every day, and we want to make it an everyday habit, going anywhere, getting anything. So, for example, you see us adding more product on our mobility app. We're actually adding trains, for example, in the UK, and we've just started launching trains in Spain as well. In delivery, we started with restaurants, and now we've got grocery. You can get pet food, and really expanding the kinds of services that we have on delivery as well. So we are slowly but surely building that super app that can be your operating system in your local town. Anything and everything that you want, anywhere you want to go, anyhow you want to get there, we as Uber want to be there for you, and we'll have a membership program that embeds you into our ecosystem even more and more. So we're well along the way. There's no other company that's trying to do this, and there's no other company that's executing that local super app vision as we are.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and When the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.